Good evening, YouTube. Seems like I always have some distilled water hanging around. So you always need a little bit of distilled water, whether it's for your lead acid batteries or mixing up antifreeze mix for your vehicles or who knows what, but you need a little bit. Like I used a little bit there, and you have to buy like a gallon or whatever size container it comes in. And these low density polyethylene jugs, I find after like maybe 2 years they start to get brittle, they crack, and all of a sudden you got a big wet spot on the floor where you were storing the bottle and your water's all gone. So I was wanting to have some place to keep some water, so I found one of these cold water dispensers. I think these are mainly meant to put inside a refrigerator, and then you have a spigot there to get your water out of. But I found this one, it's 2.5 gallons. So I'll put an Amazon link in the video description. This one had pretty good reviews. They said the spigot was pretty leak proof and the material held up. Because what I want to do is take this and put it in here and have some place to have this available, and ideally not take up any storage space. And so I was messing around here, and look at that. It fits right between my hot and cold water lines that run to the tankless water heater over here. The original pipes for the old tank heater were up here, and I ran the pipes down the wall. So I have this area in there. It's basically wasted space. I was digging around in back in my wood pile. I found a piece of plywood. This was just a scrap. It was pretty roughly cut, but it was like the right size. All I had to do was cut it in half to be just the length of the dispenser. I had a couple of 6-inch angle brackets here. I bought for something, I don't remember what they were, and then I had a piece of wood, and it was already kind of broken along there. I just used a chisel and chopped off an angle, and that holds the front there. Not a perfect fit, but pretty close. And then I had to cut the back side of my board down just a little bit. I didn't want to trim the whole thing down, so I just trimmed enough off of the 2 back corners. And so that guy should just go right up here now. Okay, there we go. The nice thing is those pipes up there prevent it from falling off. It can't come forward, it can't go back. And if the spigot leaks, it goes right down into my sink. But then what I thought I would do is I took a piece of steel and put some slight offset bends in there, and there's a stud that goes not quite down the center, so I'll put this over the top of the angle bracket to keep the top from tipping down under the load of the water, so the spacers underneath are supporting the back edge. So you can see I just added that bar across there just to hold the top of the 2 angle brackets. Yeah, so there we go, gallon of distilled in there. I think that looks pretty good. You know, the pipes hold it from flopping around, so this should be good even in case of an earthquake. Since we do live in earthquake country here, you always have to keep that in mind. For instance, when I built the shelf that goes over the top of the sink, I left a little lip. I have a 1x2 around the top, and that keeps things from falling off. Put a little label over there so I know it's distilled water. And one thing I need to do with this is my pH meter has this cap on the end, and there's a little sponge in the bottom, and you're supposed to keep it damp and keep a little distilled water in there. You want to keep the tip on the pH meter moist. Periodically I'll need to do that as this dries out. That keeps the meter working longer, and I can toss that out in the recycling. That's going to work really well. And the nice thing is this is up, it's out of the way. I have access to everything on my shelf. I left enough clearance to the water heater. I think it needs 6 inches clearance to combustible materials. Pretty happy with that. So yeah, nice recycled project. Didn't have to buy a single thing for it other than the water dispenser. Yeah, so I just thought I'd show you that little project. I give it a thumbs up. I think it's going to be really useful. Good place to store some distilled water, keep it out of the way, and keep it from leaking all over the place. I'll put some of the tankless water heater videos and also the utility sink videos. I'll put a couple of those over here on the left side. If you have any questions, post up in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching.